I am Ashrafi S. Bhagat. I am an art historian, art critic, and an independent curator. I was also the associate professor and former head at the Department of Fine Arts, Stella Maris College. At the outset, I would like to thank Hina Bhatt of Hina Bhatt Art Venture for giving me this opportunity to talk on modernity in Indian art. Where does India's modernity begin? It was the result of an encounter with European art which retrospects to the 16th century, especially in the Mughal court of Akbar. European traders and Jesuit priests who visited Mughal court presented Akbar with European paintings and prints and polyglot Bibles. Akbar, who was a keen learner, who had a keen perceptive eye, looked at these works and was equally fascinated. He had these works sent to his atelier where the artists were required to copy them. The artists, when they looked at these European prints and paintings, were fascinated by the concept of space, as well as by the volume that was rendered in the forms through modeling in light and shade. Gradually, these influences filtered into Mughal miniature paintings, and when finally Mughal Empire declined and patronage was on the wane, many of these trained artists, they were looking for patronage for their livelihood and soon migrated to many of the feudal kingdoms in the hill states of Punjab as Kangra, Garhwal, Guler, Basholi, and many other smaller kingdoms, and they found patronage there because these feudal lords were equally interested in the patronage of painting. Here we find that these Mughal artists settled and they brought their knowledge, their skill, and their inspiration and influences into the works when they started painting. But at the same time, there were regional influences also. For example, when we look at Basholi painting, it has the strong regional folk flavor. But then when we look at Kangra and Garhwal paintings, we find that there is an enhanced refinement in the work of art, in the use of line, in colors, and in the intricacy of precise details. Kangra paintings are considered to be the finest refined works of Punjab hills, and they are literally poetry in painting. They are beautiful, they are very well rendered, and they have a lyricism which is unmatched with any other tradition. Slowly, when these hill kingdoms began to decline, these artists were again left on the street and they had no patronage. So they became what is known as the bazaar artists, and they began to hawk their ware on the streets. And when they painted, they were influenced by the European realism, which they saw in the works of many of the academic realistic artists who were already in India from 1760s onwards, and they absorbed it in a very naive and an intuitive manner. As a result of which, they created works which was very hybrid. Now, these Indian painters, Indian traditional painters, were also engaged by the officials of the East India Company, and that is why they are known as company painters. They were given initial training in the use of perspective, modeling in light and shade, and then they were employed or they were commissioned to do various kinds of works like rendering the topography of a region for strategic purposes or rendering military architecture, or they were also employed by other officials in various capacities to render the flora and fauna or the landscapes around the historical monuments or the ruins which were very frequently seen around were rendered by these company artists who were in reality the Indian miniature artists who had lost their jobs. Now, in certain kingdoms like Lucknow, Patna, etc., there were also patronage which was provided by the local kings there, and they were employed by them. And names of many of these company artists also emerged, and they have also specialized in doing various kinds of themes and works. While these company artists were patronized by these local courts, there were also folk art artists who were also now on the lookout for some kind of a patronage, because their patronage in their indigenous places were being lost because of the development of the urban cities, and they were not finding enough to make their livelihood. I'm talking specifically about the Patuas of Bengal. These Patuas, who used to be creating the Ramayana and the Mahabharata paintings as scrolls and then showing it in visual forms to their artists, especially in the evenings in the villages on various occasions, were now without any livelihood. So they migrated to the urban centers, and many of these Patuas, they came to the Kali temple at Kalighat in Calcutta, and they settled there. When they settled there, initially, they started creating works which were iconic, representation of gods like Shiva, Parvati, Ganesha, Krishna, and they created them in a very intimate and an endearing manner, which had a kind of a domesticity, an aura of domesticity around them. The idiom that Kalighat artists adopted was a combination of both the Western realism as well as their own tradition. So we find that their works were cryptic and synoptic. Their forms rendered in black outline, and then they were outlined in grey initially, and then slowly they began to introduce colors as well as many other details like the jewelry, the sartorial attire, etc. Soon these Kalighat artists began to be influenced by the society around them, and their works became journalistic commentary, making a social critique, especially of the Bhadralok or the middle class of Calcutta. These became very popular because they were rendered visually, and it had a lot of appeal among many of those who saw the works, and soon they were collected and became collector's item. Kalighat artists were not able to survive beyond 1830 because of the introduction of Batala woodwork printing, and they lost their livelihood completely. Now these are all bazaar artists. Company painters were the Indian traditional artists trained as miniaturists. Kalighat bazaar artists were those who were from the folk art tradition. So, what is the importance of both the company artists as well as the Kalighat bazaar painters? Company artists who created works, they combined certain techniques and elements of Western art along with their traditional skills and forms. They worked in watercolors, and oil painting was already introduced as early as the 18th century. So they were familiar with oil painting also. The bazaar artists of Kalighat, they developed their own idiom, as we also have the Nathdwara artists who also developed their own idiom, and they started selling works which were also as mementos to the pilgrims. So here we already find an encounter with the European art, which seems to have made an impact and which was assimilated in an ingenious manner to serve their ends by the company artists as well as by the Kalighat bazaar painters. Kalighat bazaar painting especially has a very seminal place in the development of modernity in India, because this art influenced the first iconic avant-garde modernist, Jamini Roy, who moved away from nationalist painting as well as from any of the isms that he was well versed of European art, and was looking for developing his own individual visual language. He adopted Kalighat painting and became a seminal influence in his work, which he individualized with his very contemporary sensibility. So, already the seeds of modernity in India were laid, because it is instructive enough to see here that there was already a modernization of tradition that was already happening, as we see it in the company paintings as well as we see it in the Kalighat bazaar artists.